Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity, where last time we explored the Duke's Palace up here. We talked with the, who was it called? Counselor, was it Counselor? We talked to somebody about Cadnua, and the proper lord, or the rightful lord, I suppose, made a fool out of himself and left. We offered him to come a chance to come visit Cadnua and feast with us. We'll see if he accepts that. We also met with a priest of Magrin, who told us something about the fires, and she needs us to go find this flame to light the fires because she's lost her faith and la-di-da-di-da. And we were also told we cannot access the records because we're not cool enough. Only the cool kids get to access the records. And then we came here to the Temple of Boudica and met a ghost who told us that there was a secret passage, or there was a passage down beneath the temple, which we already know is in the catacombs. But today, before we go take on the Temple of Boudica, we're going to continue exploring the rest of the city here. So first we're going to go into here, which I believe is the Crucible Knights headquarters. I haven't decided yet which side Klesia favors yet, whether it's the knights or the dozens. What business brings you to the keep?
Friend.
Justiciar Aldmar. Aldmar gives you an appraising eye, judging by the scars on his face. He's lucky to be able to do that much. Every day we get more from the hinterlands pouring into Defiance Bay. Keeps us busy on the watch, it does. You look like you've recently arrived yourself. Who are you? A soldier of the Crucible Knights, and proud of it. I help keep everything running at the keep so that Commander Cliver can focus on more important matters. Looking for something? Or just knocking the dirt off your boots? What goes on in Crucible Keep? This is the headquarters of the Crucible Knights, so it's where we store arms and armor, as well as where many of our soldiers bunk. Commander Cliver's in the back, making plans, as usual. He scratches a scarred cheek. You'll find the forge at the west end of the building, along with our master smith, Dunstan. There's also a shrine to the golem, if you're the praying type. The golem. I don't think we've heard reference of the golem before, have we? Tell me about the Crucible Knights. We're the defenders of Defiance Bay. We're not exactly a formal knighthood, but don't tell Commander Cliver I said that. He grins. We were the first organized militia to oppose Adiran rule, and today, we're the largest force in the city. Our soldiers undergo years of combat training, and our officers are required to have their souls read by that critter out in Dunrid Row. What critter in Dunrid Row? Just a requirement of the Crucible Knights, so the higher-ups know there's nothing messy built in your soul's past. Aldmar widens his stance. Keeping the ranks pure is fine by me. I just wish they were more careful in hiring their ciphers. What's wrong with their ciphers? He shifts his weight and glances at the empty hall. They're mostly Orlans. I'm sure they're talented enough, but you just can't trust them. Hostility's in their nature, and they've learned to hide it over the years. He frowns and crosses his arms. All I'm saying is they should at least be supervised by other folk. That's reasonable enough, isn't it? Jesus. Let's just be a little bit racist here. Well, just a little dash of racism always makes a knightly order sound more appealing. You're wrong. It sounds fair enough. That's a horrible thing to say. If people treated them better, you wouldn't have to worry about them being so hostile. That seems like an extreme position to take. It's one of the last three. You're wrong isn't strong enough. I would like that's a horrible thing to say, to be more of like an angry response. And maybe it is. But the way the way I interpreted it when I first read it was just like an emotional response. Like shocked. That seems like an extreme position to take. That's not... let's go for it. If people treated them better, you wouldn't have to worry about them being hostile. Well, that's kind of like confirming that they are hostile, which that's not true. Like we've met non-hostile Orlans. Seems like an extreme position to take. Aldmar shrugs. I'm just speaking the truth. Nowadays, it seems that's the biggest crime of all. Oh, geez. That line right there felt very real. That's all. Okay. So, you guys are not off to a good start in my eyes. I don't remember catching that in the my first playthrough of this. Granted, I played as an Orlan, so maybe he didn't even say that. That would have been interesting. Here's Dunstan. They said that was the smith, right? Tongues of flame flick at the forge, hissing with smoke as hot as a dragon's breath. Tongs Hardies? What are Hardies? I don't think I've ever heard that before. Hardies. Fullers and punch tools hang from the wall. They feel heavy and sturdy, but their flame-darkened surfaces testify to frequent use. Hello.
If this is about the breastplates, I already told Cleaver they won't be repaired till next week.
Oh, his name's Cleaver. The dwarf bustles between a sweltering forge fire and a work table. He wipes one muscle-knotted arm across his brow. Show him the pieces of the blade of the endless paths. I found several fragments of an ancient sword. Do you think you could help repair it? Yeah, let's do that. Well, let's talk to him first. What do you do here?
I'm a forge master. I'm a master smith for the Crucible Knights. But the way I see it, I'm also keeping up with our old traditions. The first members of our order were smiths. Nowadays, most everyone's a professional soldier. I suppose it's to be expected, but I think it's important we keep up with our roots, too.
He hefts a hammer in one hand. Interesting that they all used to be smiths. Something else on your mind? Tell me about the knights.
We were all smiths back in Hodrick's day, though I'm about the only one here who still gets his hands dirty. We're a fearsome fighting force, though these days I think Cleaver takes more pride in our parade formations.
He thinks himself a progressive man, but he's obsessed with soul lineages and connections to the Direwoods heroes of old. He picks up his hammer again. Other than Dunred Rowe, who really knows about any of that, though? Show him the pieces of the blade. Dunstan gives a low whistle. That's a fine blade indeed. He holds one fragment in his rough hands. Looks Adiran. Special made. Must have been a commission for a champion of some sort. He hands the shard back to you. A sword of this caliber would have had a specially designed hilt, too. It would be a shame to graft anything else onto it. And besides, it'll balance best with all the original pieces. You find the rest of it, and I'll forge it for you. Cool. Thank you very much. Is this guy... No, that's a novitiate. Okay. Let's go in here. Hello. Panhelm.
Gods keep you.
The young novitiate's armor is recently shined, and his hair is clean and neatly combed. It's hard to believe he's ever seen battle, or that the scarred antique breastplate he wears could possibly be his. Are you looking for something? Tell me about the Knights. We're the primary defenders of Defiance Bay. The Order's founders were the first to rally for Deerwooden independence. He waves his hand. Of course, that's ancient history now. Now, we're the most prestigious company of soldiers in the Direwood. It's a glorious line of work. He scrunches up his nose. If he can forget about the barracks, that is. Was there anything else? How does one become a knight? We don't take just anyone. Our members share soul legacies with the very men and women who defended this land a century and a half ago. He shifts his weight and coughs. Anyhow, Commander Cleaver is responsible for initiations, but he rarely accepts foreigners. Very well. I don't know if I want to join you guys anyway. Dunstan seems cool. The blades are razor sharp. This guy doesn't seem bad. He's just a little bit stuck up, it seems. Justiciar. Alright, this must be the barracks. I'm assuming all of these are not mine. Probably a good assumption. Thick grime cakes the bottom of the tub. The towel hangs from the side. Ugh, gives off an awful stench. I can see why he's not happy with the barracks. Never mind. He's not a snob at all. There's just basic human decency. Clean that place up. Alright, what do we have in here? Nothing. We've got a table. This is a record of the active patrols and reported crimes in Andra's gift. The latter far outnumbers the former. Was this stealing? No. Pinhelm's affidavit? Curran, a cipher duly appointed and employed by Dunred Rowe, does hereby certify that Novitiate A.M. Pinhelm has been found to have a soul free of any subversive influence or tainted essence. The scroll is stamped with the seal of Dunred Rowe and signed by both Pinhelm and Curran. Okay. That's stealing, though. Why wasn't that one stealing? That's stealing, and that's stealing. Or at least locked. Hello, Mr. Justiciars. Nice little mess hall. This painting shows a row of warriors standing atop the walls of Defiance Bay, while Adir's ships sail away. Cool. Alright. Let's go into here. This might be where the golem is. That shrine. Yeah, that's what it looks like. We could take that. Daily affirmations of focus and efficiency. It's free for the taking, so we'll take it. It's a book. There's no priest. Discovered the Shrine of Abaddon. 150 experience. Nice. Okay, so we could put some sort of offering on there. This is the symbol of Abaddon, a colossal smithing hammer. Whoa, excuse me. A colossal smithing hammer imposed over circular gear. It's smooth and bright with buffing oils. Cool. I wonder, I don't remember what we do with that. Starting to get to the point in the game where I don't remember a whole lot, it feels like. Which is good.
We just don't have the manpower.
Hello, Commander Cleaver.
Refugees from every corner of the Deerwood. The dozens getting them all riled up about animancy. At this rate, we'll need twice the soldiers to patrol Defiance Bay. Yes? Can I help you with something?
Commander Cleaver stands in front of a massive table, studying a map. His expression is set in a grim frown. He opens his mouth to say something to one of his men, but he follows the soldier's gaze over his shoulder to you. Why don't you have enough soldiers?
Fleetbreaker Castle. The High Justice has summoned almost half of my novitiates, and more of my justiciars to a keep on the other side of New Hailmar. It's not for me to question the High Justice's orders, but it's left us short-handed. And mark me, we're just a couple sparks away from anarchy.
Frustration flickers behind his eyes. Interesting. So, Fleetbreaker Castle. Okay. Is there any way I can help? I know how to handle myself. With so many newcomers, can't you just recruit more soldiers? Yeah, can't just recruit. What's wrong? More recruits means more training, which means more time from experienced soldiers that I don't have. He half turns away from you. Anyhow, I already see how this is any of your concern. But if you've got the time to ask me about it, then perhaps you've got the time to do something instructive. Forge Master Dunstan is working with an animancy scholar to build what we're calling Forge Knights, warriors that can patrol our streets without suffering fatigue, disobedience, or fear. Some agitator throws a rock at them. We don't have to worry about things getting out of hand. He's constructed the armor, but we need the scholar's research. Unfortunately, she hasn't been around the last few times my novitiates have checked. Viana lives with the rest of the Scriveners out in Copper Lane, but I haven't the soldiers to spare at the moment. Go to the Scrivener's dormitory and see if you can find her. When you get the research, just bring it to Dunstan. This is his area of expertise anyway. Once you've brought him the research, he can sell you any arms or armor if you have need. He forges and repairs all of our equipment. You won't find a more capable smith in Defiance Bay. Was there something else I can do for you? You're in charge here? Here in Defiance Bay, anyhow. The High Justice is the leader of our order, but he's currently stationed at Fleetbreaker Castle. My job is to oversee our forces in Defiance Bay and to keep order for the Duke. Tell me about the Crucible Knights, or Knights of the Crucible. He crosses his hands behind his back. We're the only professional army in Defiance Bay, or in the Direwood for that matter. We defended the city in Hodred's day. We've improved our training since then, but Dunrid Row can certify that many of our officers come from good Deerwood and fighting stock. Now we're responsible for patrolling the city and keeping the peace. With so many refugees pouring in from the countryside, that's become more important than ever. Unfortunately, that's earned us enemies, particularly among the dozens and some of the more enterprising families in Defiance Bay. We kind of already know this, but what do the dozens have against you? He snorts. They're demagogues and troublemakers. They forget that Defiance Bay is one of the largest cities in the world and not some frontier outpost. Most of them are mercenaries on a good day, and street thugs the rest of the time. Needless to say, they've no patience for law and order. Tell me about these enterprising families. House Domino, namely, they're one of the city's oldest noble families and its largest criminal organization. Their patriarch, Gedmar, has been trying to take advantage of the turmoil to expand his operations. We've kept on top of him, and he hasn't been too happy about that. Interesting. I see. Was there something else? Nope. Goodbye. Okay, so we can go help him out. Now, he doesn't seem like such a bad guy. And Dunstan seems like a good guy. And to be honest, his idea doesn't seem half bad. Edict of Arrest. This edict calls for the arrest of Yorn, whose recent actions have led to the death of a Knight of the Crucible. It requests reporting any information to Justicar Aldmar. It is signed Commander Cleaver. Ah, that's the guy we let free down in the catacombs. What's going on there? What's wrong with this book? Okay, so that one was for the taking too. Thanks for the free stuff, guys. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna side with them. And I don't think Klestia has a good impression of them. Like, they don't seem terrible. I don't know. I mean, the dozens don't seem great either. But we missed a room. But really, it was just Aldmar. Aldmar? Whatever his name was. He doesn't seem like a good guy. Hello, Wyla. We need to deal with Heritage Hill. The Justicar's gaze flicks over to you briefly before returning to the novitiates gathered in the training area. If this is about patrols, my novitiates are already stretched to their limit. Between the refugee influx and the mess at Heritage Hill, I simply don't have any units to spare. After a pause, she looks over at you again. I'm sorry, was there something else you needed? What's wrong with Heritage Hill? She lowers her voice. What isn't wrong is the real question. A whole district of walking, flesh-eating corpses. We've sealed the area 2 months ago, just after I lost one of my finest commanders there, and yet this is the second guard rotation to disappear. There are already enough rumors about the place floating around the keep, without my soldiers whispering about these disappearances. She shakes her head. I'd just as soon abandon the district, but if those monsters should find a way out... Tell me about the hill. It used to be one of the most prestigious districts in Defiance Bay, but a few months ago, the residents all went mad, started eating each other, oh god, and anything else. Every time I laugh right now, I just cough, it's terrible. And anything else that had the bad luck to wander into the district. I've never seen anything like it. Now, every novitiate that stands guard there, every one that comes back, anyway, talks of the stench of the grave and the groans of of unspeakable horrors. She holds up one plate-clad finger. The why and the how are questions for the animancers. I've sealed the district in hopes of containing whatever happened there. It seems to be working, for now. If there's nothing else, I must attend to my duties. There's more. I always have more to say. What do you do here? I'm in charge of the Keep's novitiates. I'm responsible for their training and patrol assignments. She nods at the group gathering in the training room. They're good soldiers, and they've been quick to adapt to new challenges. You said earlier that something was wrong with Heritage Hill? Yeah. We've read that. Okay. I could look into it. She steps back and regards you. After what I've just told you, you want to go to Heritage Hill? I've lost trained soldiers there. Why should I let anyone in? If people are disappearing, someone's got to figure out what's happening to them. You've got nothing else to lose. Your trained knights have nothing on me. It just seems like you could use some help. What's the harm in letting me try? I'm trying to think. So far, Klestia has sort of been against sort of the professional soldiers, right? She sided with the rebels instead of Roderick. And that's really it. But we could make it so, like, I don't know, maybe the people chasing her out of her her homeland were sort of like a knightly order or a professional group. And that would, make her favor a more chaotic element like the Dozens, or maybe whatever that criminal organization might be. I'm not so sure about the criminal organization. I don't think she's much of a criminal. I think we might go with that. She still might choose the Crucible Knights. But at least for like her attitude towards them, she doesn't like how stuck up and pompous they are. And in the case of the guy at the front, racist. Your trained knights have nothing on me. If you're so eager to rush to your death, I won't stop you. She quietly looks on at the novitiates. And if you're somehow able to put a stop to this. Sounds like you're not a very good guard. I feel like that's the opposite attitude a guard should have. If you're so eager to rush to your death, I won't stop you. I'm just a guard. Whatever. You've got my permission to enter Heritage Hill. I'll send word to the guards at the gate. Very well. Okay, well,
hey.
That was easy. I mean, also, that feels like a very, very big lapse in her duty. Like, I could just be wanting to, rob the place. And I just realized that Edier wants to talk. Let's talk to him.
Strange place for a shrine to Abaddon, Crucible Keep. Maybe it made more sense at some point before it gathered all that dust. And the only thing the Knights of the Crucible worship these days is the nobility, as far as I understand it.
I know some soldiers who got recruited by the Knights after the war was over. They told me some about it. They get these young kids in there, and they tell them about blacksmithing and about the revolution and about tradition. Talk about the golem like he created the Crucible Knights and is forged to go win Direwood's free independence. Then they join, and it turns out all any of those knights ever talked about is when and it turns out all any of those knights ever talks about is when are we going to get recognized as a real knighthood? When are we getting our titles and our lands? Their High Justice wants to be an Earl. Says it's Abaddon's will. He's got a castle and an army. You wonder how long he'll wait before he starts a war over it. Saying Abaddon told him to do it. Seems like some members do still take their ideals seriously. Yeah, the Smith man, Dunstan. For all we know, maybe Abaddon is telling him to. True. They don't seem all bad. They're keeping the peace in Defiance Bay. And the nobles will respond with their gods, that their gods told them that they're the ones, that they're the only true nobles. Yeah. Yeah, that's what'll happen. trouble with having all these gods is you've got support no matter how dumb your ideas are. Maybe we had the right idea blowing some of them up. Less of them to hide behind. Maybe. Although,
Hey.
can you kill a god? So is the question, right? I actually kind of wrote I didn't write it, but I created like a project in college where we were studying ancient history, and not gonna go into too much detail, but anyway, in ancient Mesopotamia, like each city-state had like a god of the city, and the whole idea of the thing was like there was this one city, had a really awesome god that everybody loved and thought was all powerful and blah 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 da da da. And when the city got destroyed, people suddenly stopped worshipping said god. And the whole idea was like, you know, the god died when the city died. Basically, the idea is, you know, there's nobody to believe in it, and then the god doesn't exist. I really butchered that. Yeah, that's my college education right there. If nobody believes in a god, it doesn't exist. Okay, let's keep moving. Let's go down here.
All these circling feet heading nowhere.
They're all heading nowhere. Let's check out the embassy. So now we've got we've got 2 quests now. Heritage Hill and the Scriveners. Let's take a look in here, though. Ooh, fancy. Vincent Agosti. And a free book. I'll take it. Hello?
Good day to you.
What can this humble servant of the Republics do for you? Tell me about the Republics. They are rich in all ways, in wealth, in style, in culture. If you were to go to the Republics, you would not want to leave. Why would you? The people are beautiful and charming. I am here because the Sangreta Ducala wishes it. But when my appointment is done, I will be on the first ship out, and I will sing from here to Salona. If there's nothing else, I must return to my duties. Now what do you do? As the Valian ambassador, my job is to ensure trade with the Direwood remains strong and profitable. Farewell. Okay. That's stealing. Only 1 free book per room. These postings show current prices for a range of commodities. They track the running exchange rate for the Valian loose. More diplomats. Anything important in here? Spread across the table are the blueprints of an in-progress trade deal between a merchant company from the Republics and a Direwooden Weirwool collective. Or Wirewool? It's probably Wirewool. The flag depicts the symbol of the Valian Republics, a ship sailing beneath five radiant stars. Anything down here? Free book? Free book! Thank you very much. And a locked chest. A very tempting position for a locked chest. Out in the open like that. Alright, nothing to do here. Wait, was that somebody? Next to the pillar? It might have just been a diplomat. But now I gotta go check. Because now I'm curious. But this will be the end of this area. Yeah, it was just a soldier. Yeah. This will be the end of First Fires. So now we're going to head on over to Andra's Gift. And see if we can't explore that area before the end of the episode. Just out of curiosity, how much time...
Adair, you have said you fought in the Saints' War, but for which side?
The one that blew up my god.
I didn't mean anything by it. I imagine a man with a head made of fire and light could be very convincing.
Funny thing about Deerwoodens. With all that fire and light, they just treated him like another authority figure.
So, 2 days, 19 hours. So, not an insignificant amount of time has passed while we were wandering around talking to people. But we still have time. So, Andra's Gift. Explore this, and then Brackenbury. And then we'll see how much time we have left. I think we'll do the main quest next if there's time. Even if there's not time, we'll go to Kadnua, do that thing, and then we'll do the main quest. Okay. Andra's Gift. What do we got here? We got the Salty Mast, which is the brothel. An abandoned house. Kolfeg's house. Abandoned house. Ada's house. Trading company. Ramshackle house, and a lighthouse. So, I don't know if we're going to be exploring the abandoned houses. No reason to go in those. I guess they're abandoned, right? No reason not to go in them. The grimy windows have been papered over from the inside. Is that an abandoned house? I guess if it's an abandoned house, we'll check it out. Sure, why not? Who's going to stop us? Maybe we'll find a house to buy, too. Okay, well, we're not buying this house. A dozen tiny somethings squirm within the pot of rice. Yum. Alright, well, you guys keep doing you. Don't mind me. To each his own. I don't think we have any business going into this person's house. There are some souls, so we do need to read all the souls in First Fire still. And we're gonna have to read the souls here too. But we'll do that. Maybe next episode we'll go back and do all that. Abandoned house. Hello. Anybody in this abandoned house? Who should not be? Ooh, camping supplies. Don't need them right now.
Quickly and quietly.
Free money. It's abandoned money, so it's fine to take. Right? Those are the rules. Finders keepers. And an empty room with a hammer and chisel. And the rope coiled around this chair feels painfully scratchy. Ew. The water in this pail is murky with blood. Okay, well this isn't a very nice place, is it? I think I'd rather stay the night with the addicts. Alright, hello sailor. Courtesan. Another soul to read. Justice here. Anything over here? No. Okay, so now we can go down from here. Wait, this is something? It's not on the map, is it? It's not on the map. What could it be? Okay, a whole bunch of thugs and bragging. Is that somebody we know? Shove off. We've got nothing to talk about. Okay. Take that. Check this house out. Hello. Souls to read. A dozen tiny somethings squirm within the pot of rice. The bed is stiff as a plank. The worn, grimy blankets feel as if they'd come apart in the wash. We're actually going to read these souls, because I'm afraid that I'm going to forget that they're in here. So, Vril. You see a dark, foreboding room, heavy with incense smoke. Two figures stand in the center of the room, performing some sort of ritual with slow, exact, deliberate motions. This man follows along with the actions of an older man, and it becomes obvious the older man is teaching the younger one how to perform the ritual. He calls out steps, corrects imperfections, and berates the young man when he missteps. Watching the younger man's motions, you note he seems to be intentionally making mistakes. But what he hopes to accomplish with this, you can't discern. As the ritual continues, the master becomes more irritated with the young man. He walks over, leans in, and begins chastising him eye to eye. This appears to be what the young man was waiting for. The young man takes advantage of his master's distraction. Dropping the censer he is holding, he locks eyes with the older man, completely focused on his target. A wisp of energy leaps from the younger eyes to the older, and the master stands up, eyes now milky white, rocking unsteadily at his feet. The young man never breaks his gaze on the older, slowly circling him, almost seeming disappointed. He stops, toe to toe, and looks disdainfully into the blank eyes. "Is that it?" he whispers, staring his master down like a snake. "How did I ever think you had anything to offer me?" He blinks and twists his head to the side, turning heel and striding from the room. Bright blue mist flows from the master's eyes and mouth, wrapping sinuous tendrils around his body. It slides across his arms, working its way to his abdomen, down over his legs. The mist speeds up, moving faster as it circles the master's body, glowing brighter as it does. The speed increases until it no longer looks like mist, but a shimmering cocoon surrounding the old man's body. A faint humming buzz emanates from the mist, growing louder and more forceful by the second. The young man stops in the doorway, looking back at the older man, only a mild interest in his eyes. With a whoosh, the air around the master ignites, starting him on fire. The smell of his own burning flesh breaks from him, his reverie, and a scream erupts from his lungs. The young man turns around again, unmoving, and walks away, leaving no one to hear his master's dying cry. Yikes. Students are the worst, aren't they? Brian Walker. Reach out. You see a young man, contort, screaming, strapped to a wooden table. Above him, a machine crackles, tiny strikes of lightning caressing his emaciated frame. A trio of mages chant around him, eyes white, hands lifted in benediction of their agonized victim. It goes on for more time than you could say before the screams stop, replaced by hoarse, stabbing sobs and silence. A silver-haired woman enters, kissing him on the forehead. Motherly hands, soothing, cajoling. He quiets, unable to speak for screaming, and waits for a death he'll never see. Not a pleasant group of people in there. Not a pleasant pair. A lot of death. A lot of painful death. All right. Let's go down the stairs. Check this building out here. Oh, I guess you're going to go over there to do that. That's fine. With its crooked and missing shingles, the roof resembles a prize fighter's gape-toothed smile. Alright. Got another door here, but it is locked.
I can do that.
But we can unlock it, and we can go in. Because why not? We are the protagonist. Nothing we do is wrong. Free cocoa. And free meat. Nothing like some cocoa and some meat. Someone stashed a few sooty playing cards under the bed. Okay. Fair enough. I imagine there's going to be things in these buildings when we find the quest to them. Which is fine. We're just exploring at the moment. Pelagina. And Valiant Soldier. I remember you now.
Damn that son of a cool.
The angry woman clenches her jaw and stares out toward the harbor with glimmering golden eyes. Eventually, sensing your presence, she turns her feathered head toward you.
Want to run it down on its luck, Valiant Trading Company? If you have more than half a brain, you could really do something with it.
She clenches her jaw and continues quietly.
As long as you're willing to clean up a few bloodstains.
What's going on exactly?
Exactly. If I knew that, I'd be in a better mood. The only thing I know exactly is that Mestre Verzano is determined to wind up in a grave before the season turns.
The woman looks back at the warehouse for a moment and grimaces. After a slight nod in your direction, she storms off. Okay, well, later. She will be a companion. Spoilers. Valiant Trading Company. If, you know, the portrait and the voice acting didn't give it away. Take that. Hello, Cartugo.
Good day, stranger.
Come take a look at my wares. Exotic goods shipped straight from the republics of and Old Valia. Show me what you have. What is this? Is that a really good scepter? Could be. Here, you can have that, though. You can have that, too. Okay, what do you have? What do I have? I only have 1,700 gold. Rot finger gloves. Ring of Wonder. Belt of the Stelgar. Ooh. Dexterity +2, that's nice. We can get this. Wind Strike bonus. We could get this too. Soul Whip bonus damage. Okay, and that's kind of it. Ooh. We could get a Beagle or a Calico. I think we'll stick with our Black Hound though. Poor guy, we're not going to leave him alone. Right.
Hey.
If I had more money, I'd probably buy more. Okay, so we got a door here and a door there. It looks like it's the same building. I think it is. Let's see what's in here. Welcome to the Valian Trading Company.
Well met, friend.
Lena. A young woman stands behind a counter, watching you with quick, intelligent eyes. Welcome. This is your first visit to the Valian Trading Company, is it not? Please let me know if I can assist you. Your tone is both professional and inquisitive. What is this place? The Valian Trading Company is an association of merchants from the Valian republics. We oversee trade deals and negotiations on behalf of our merchants. She gestures toward the door on her right. This is our warehouse, where we store goods in transit. You have more business to discuss? Who are you? I'm the assistant manager of this warehouse. Currently, I help Verzano run things, but I'll take over when he retires, or when the company bosses back home, decide it's time for new management. She rolls her eyes. Very well. All right, is Mr. Vermazu, whatever his name is, in here? Hello. Esteemed Meister Verzano. While your ambitions would dignify any son of the republics, your methods do not. The dukes have asked once that you see to the business interests of all the republics. They are not given to asking twice. Vincent Agasti, that's the diplomat, right? The ambassador. We talked to him today. A shipping manifest listing the cargo of the Principa me Siamina. 400 shark skins from Rawatai, 20 bales of blackwood from the Living Lands, and 6 dozen barrels of Adir Ale. Bundled navigational charts and nautical maps. That's stealing. Apretas. Keep those crates moving. Hello. For the immediate transport to Barda, handle with care. A man stands in the corner of the warehouse, directing traffic. Gems wink from the many rings on his fingers as he points and waves at the laborers. His silk clothes, though finely embroidered, aren't new. You notice a couple mended seams around the shoulders and a discreet patch on one elbow.
Hail and well met.
When he sees you, he throws his arms wide in an expansive welcome. Greetings! You have come to the warehouse and headquarters of the Valian Trading Company. He consults a pocket watch. Some of the gold filigree has chipped away. But you are late. I sent word to the expedition hall yesterday. This delivery cannot wait. He snaps the watch shut. Who is that feathered woman? Ah, you must be Pelagina. She's a paladin in the employ of the Valian embassies. He chuckles. She's a good soldier, but not so good at taking orders. Too hot a temper, I'm afraid. She seemed angry. He laughs again. That is no surprise. She's hot-headed. A woman in a brotherhood of paladins, and touched by the gods, is in such an unusual way. Okay, something else I can help you with. What's the delivery? He tugs at his beard. I must assume then that you are not from the company I contacted at the expedition hall. He waves a hand. But you're here, and they are not. It is a bag of bitter squash seeds, which are prized for their medicinal properties. Few merchants in Defiance Bay deal in them, but those who do know their value. Seems simple enough. Why ask me? A frown distorts his meticulous goatee. My own couriers have been robbed and beaten these past weeks. It would seem that some of my competitors resent my success. In any case, you are not a known associate. You would be left alone, and if not, he shrugs and grins. You look like you could handle yourself. And as for your integrity, I suppose I will just have to trust you, as you will have to trust my assurance that you won't find a buyer outside of my contact. Okay, sure, why not? Well, we'll deliver him. He claps his hands together. Excellent. Now deliver this package to a man named Gareth of the Goose at the Goose and Fox in Copper Lane. He will know what to do with it. He slips a bag of pebbly seeds into your hand. Return to me when you are done, and I shall see to your payment.
Hello.
Better deliver that package, no? Business such as this is best concluded quickly. All right. What do you do here? I'm a merchant from Anson's, the fairest of the Valian republics. Here in Defiance Bay, I run the Valian Trading Company. He gestures at the stacked crates. We ship cargo to and from the republics. We are a part of the grandest mercantile organization in the world. Anything you can imagine, we can ship it. He grins. For a fee. I'd like to know more about the Valian Trading Company. We are a confederation of merchants and traders from the republics. He looks proudly around the warehouse. We sell all manners of goods and equipment, and for years we've enjoyed fruitful contracts with many shops, inns, and armorers throughout Defiance Bay. His smile flickers. What's wrong? It's nothing. He waves a hand. Only that competition has grown especially fierce in recent months. But I suppose this is to be expected given the legacy, as the locals call it. Alright, farewell. Alright, another quest. Picking up a lot of quests. Warehouse hands. All these are stealing, I'm assuming. Yeah. Live specimens do not open. Okay. We won't open them. Caution, flammable. Alright. So we're done there. I think we just have the salty mast left, right? And then, well, you have the lighthouse too. And the docks. Yeah, so we'll go to the salty mast. I guess we'll do the docks right now, actually. Let's go down the docks, do all this, and then we can go across there, go to Otta's house, and then we can go over here. Hello, Emmett. Some payday this turned into.
Good day, stranger.
An old man paces the dock and looks out over the water. He's fussing over something large and round, which he constantly shifts from one hand to the other. You're not certain whether his wide-eyed, gape-mouthed expression marks surprise or fear. It seems he isn't either. You, don't look like a guard. He examines you and your equipment more closely. Say, you wouldn't be interested in making some coppers, would you? He shows you the object in his hand. It's a large round opal with runes carved into it. It glistens with his sweat. See the ship that went down over there? I've been looking for someone to help me recover some missing cargo. Tell me more about this missing ship. He licks his lips. We started in Cold Morn, and we're making our way down the river, loading and unloading as we went. Business as usual. And what happened? He massages the opal in a clammy palm. When we reached Ina's Rest, we may have agreed to take on a few crates from some place called Cleaben Relag. A couple of the lads snuck a peek at the cargo, saw suits of armor and broken scepters. He shrugs. Don't know why anyone would want a broken anything, but these animancers will buy dirty stockings if you say they came from the ruins. He closes his hands around the opal in a white-knuckled grip. We were almost to Defiance Bay when the screaming started. I've seen my share of barroom brawls, but this sounded different. I was topside with the captain, but he and the first mate went below decks to see what all the commotion was about. When it didn't come back, I looked into the hold. He shudders. I saw one of those suits of armor, walking around all by itself. It was covered in blood. When it saw me, it started running for the hatch, so I closed it. He squeezed his eyes shut. So how'd you get the ship here? How could you lock your crewmates in the hold with those creatures? You had to keep those monsters from getting out. Most of the crew was probably dead anyway. You should have perished with the rest of your ships, for you pathetic old dog. How'd you get the ship here? He rolls the stone between his hands. I'm just a deckhand, but I was the only one left. I piloted the ship as best I could, but I hit rocks as we were passing Brackenbury. I barely made it to Andre's gift before I had to jump overboard and swim for the docks. I'd given up on the cargo, not to mention the payday, when one of the lads pulled this up in his nets. He showed you the opal again. It's part of that scepter. From what I can recall, there were 3 other pieces, and I'd bet you anything there's somewhere in the shallows too. If anyone could find them, there'd be a profit to follow. What happens if I find the rest? There must be a reason you haven't gone looking for the rest of the artifact yourself. Have you talked to the Crucible Knights about this? Yeah, what happens if I find the rest? You find the missing piece of the artifact, and I've got an animancer friend from my expedition days who will find you a stack of coppers. He scratches his beard. All I want out of this is a few £100 for my lost payday. If that sounds fair to you, I'll give you this stone and the name of my contact once you have everything else. Emmetal, or whatever, regards the opal again. Seeing as this kid dredged this stone up in his net, I wager you could probably find the missing pieces out in the shallows during low tide. Anything else you need? About those relics. Yes? Do you have any idea what your animancer friend wants with these? She was always tinkering with these things back when we were young. I used to think she was the fool, retiring to some dusty study in Brackenbury, but after that horror on this boat, I think she made the wiser choice. Okay, how's business? He spits into the water. I'll be glad to sail with captains who are more careful about their cargo from now on. I don't give a worm's wing about the Duke's trafficking laws, but I'm too old to fight ancient horrors. He takes a deep breath of the salty air. I just want to enjoy my twilight years doing an honest day's work. I'm sure. It's actually admirable. Tell me about Andre's gift. He scratches his sunburned scalp. We've got docks, fishing, and steady ship traffic. All this, he waves at the listing shanties crowded against one another. This sprang up around the docks. It's the poorest district in Defiance Bay, but one of the liveliest. He grins. And for lively, nothing beats the salty mast. You'd do better to ask a younger man than me if you want to know about that place. He nods toward a large, round building to the east. Emmett doesn't sound like a dear wooden name. That's because it isn't. I'm from the Eximental Plains, a broad savanna north of the Direwood. Not so different from the ocean in a way. There are places where you can stand and turn a full circle and see nothing but the winds making waves in the grass. He watches the surf lapping against the wrecked boat. But at moments like this, I wonder what business a plainsman like me had taking to the water. Alright, farewell. And another quest, okay. Let's keep moving. I was thinking we might end it there, but we got time. Maybe find one more quest, or at least explore the docks here. Interesting building right here. Alright, anything down here?
A dozen Adiran ships were shattered against these levees during the War of Defiance. Best to heed the astrologers, I find, where tides are concerned.
True.
Place gets my blood beating in all the right places.
Hey now. Looks like someone needs to go to the salty mast. Alright, nothing down here. It's cool how they have like the rocks jutting out of the water like this, and they built the docks around them. Oh god, my headset died. Oh Jesus. 1 second. I should have ended the episode. This would never have happened. I'm terrible. So unprofessional. It's embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Alright, I'm back. Marcino. This young lanky sailor is wringing his cap anxiously, sweat beading on his furrowed brow. His eyes widen as you approach, and he takes a few steps forward.
Hail and well met.
If you've a moment, you're not from around here, right? You don't look like you're from the docks. He looks around nervously. I could use your help. What's the problem? Oh, thank you, thank you. He casts his gaze skywards briefly. It's the captain. Rather, not the captain himself, but his chest. His sea chest. He keeps all his valuables in there, tucked away safe. I was unloading it with the rest of the things, what with us staying in port a couple of days, and... He coughs. I may have gotten a little distracted. Marcino nods towards the buildings nearby. I wasn't gone long. Just an hour at the Salty Mast. That'll do it, man. When I got back, the chest was gone. He sets a pleading look on you. It really hasn't been that long. Whoever took it can't be too far. But the shift's changed, and I'm on the watch. I can't sneak off to look for it, and the captain will kill me if he hears of it. I'll get strung up on the yardroom. Please, if you could get it back for me, I swear by the flame, I'll make it worth your while. You can have my pay. I won't be spending it if Captain Fortunero finds out anyway. Any idea where the thieves might have taken the chest? Well, the chest itself is pretty heavy. Nobody I've asked has seen it getting carried around either. I figure they must have snuck off somewhere nearby, just out of sight. They can't have gone far. There's a pretty good lock on it too, so I'm hoping they haven't got it open. Unless they take an axe to it, I suppose. Oh gods. He takes a breath. If they got it open, I'm really done for. What makes you think I'm not from around here? Fire God-like. We, don't see many like you around here is all. He shuffles awkwardly, even on the docks. You're a sailor? Yes, ma'am. I signed on about half a year back. The pay's decent, and the sights of the sun coming up over the sea, I'm gonna give that up for anything. He sighs. I just wish I had asked around about the captain first. He seems like a reasonable guy, just don't lose his damn chest, you dummy. Farewell. Another quest. How many quests can we get? How many quests can one adventuring party solve? Alright. Last thing for this episode is we'll check out the lighthouse. We'll save the salty mast for,
won't leave my spine.
That's not good. We'll save the salty mast for next time. Unlocking this will require a proper key. Ah. So that's going to be a quest later on, I assume. Okay. And this is going to lead right back to where we already were, right? Yeah. Nia. Now hiring builders. No experience needed.
Hail, traveler.
As you approach, she eagerly turns to you. You interested in doing some construction work? Your clothes are simple, but nicer than most you've seen in Andra's gift. Pays good money. I take it you're having trouble finding workers? Workers who aren't superstitious cowards, anyway. She shakes her head. Are for good coin, but as soon as I tell them about the job, they say an oath to the Lady of Lament and spit over the dock. They all think the lighthouse is haunted, ever since the floods of Andra's gift. Echoes of the war. The flood certainly claimed enough souls to pack a lighthouse full to bursting. Andra's gift was flooded? Back at the end of the War of Defiance, it was one of the finishing blows of the Ediran military. Cost us a lot, though. The whole district was supposed to be evacuated, but not everyone left in time. I think it is Adirans. Adirans? Isn't that how they said it? Adirans? I don't know. I still like Adirans. Put anyone they found to the sword. The lucky ones who escaped the slaughter drowned hours later when Hadrid's forces broke the dams. Locals say the lighthouse keeper was one of the people who stayed behind, and one of the last to die. She shrugs. I don't know why that makes the lighthouse any more haunted than the rest of the gift, but there you have it. Have you gone inside? Who, me? She laughs nervously. Not exactly. See, my health is rather delicate, and all that dust? She sighs. Alright, when I saw 2 Armoa deckhands running as fast as they could down the pier, I lost my nerve too. I could take a look. Good. About time someone put an end to this foolishness. She rummages in her pocket and pulls out a skeleton key. As she hands it to you, she hesitates. Just be careful. Not that I believe the ghost stories, but it's an old building, so watch your step. I have some questions. Nia nods. What do you want to know? Do you know what might be inside the lighthouse? If only. Nia shrugs. It's been uninhabited since they flooded Andra's gift. What are you building? An inn, allegedly. She brushes a single loose strand of her bun behind her ear. The gift needs a spot with a little more class than the salty mast. This district has been in the dumps ever since the War of Defiance. It seemed ready for some fresh development. So imagine my excitement when I find this place. 3 floors tall and right over the water, for sale at a reasonable price. The seller suggested that there were other interested buyers, so I closed the deal before I had taken time to really look into it. Stupid. She shakes her head. Being from New Haelmar, I knew about the floods, but I didn't know about the superstitions surrounding the lighthouse. And the seller was long gone by the time I found out. At this point, it'll be a miracle from the Lady of Lament herself if I make my investment back. Tell me about the flooding of Andra's gift again. Hadra ordered it near the end of the War of Defiance. Yeah, okay. You're not from Defiance Bay, are you? She already said that. She laughs bitterly. What gave it away? The accent or the fact that I was the dupe who paid good coin for this place? I'm from New Haelmar, on the northern coast. It's smaller than Defiance Bay, so I came here hoping for some fresh opportunities, and maybe the chance to do a little good in this neighborhood. Cool. Farewell. And one more quest. The Wailing Banshee, go to the lighthouse. Awesome. I think that's what we'll start with. I think we'll do that next episode. I'm interested in that. Alright, so we picked up a ton of quests this episode. And we still got to go to the Salty Mast. And then we still got to go to Brackenbury. So, potentially a lot more quests left to get. But that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I'll catch you later.